She has legal documentation, and she is still inside that building. She was a daycare teacher. She was... I'm sorry, I can't imagine what would be going through my kid's head if that happened to his teacher. Like, it's horrible. That's so traumatic and so unnecessary.
You want to see what real independent journalism funded by the people for the people looks like?
You ever heard a story like this in America?
You're looking at it.
Congratulations for always being somewhere where mainstream media is not.
Flint, Michigan.
See you in Nevada.
Thanks to people like you, we can get the truth. Corporate media, they've been lying to us for years, and you go straight to the people.
You are the man. I'm glad you're here.
For as low as 16 cents a day, you'll keep us on the ground, covering the important stories the corporate media covers up.
They said we had to take our tent down at 10 a.m. on Thursday, that Thursday, which I believe was the 30th. And we called a bunch of media out here to see them doing that at 10 a.m. And instead they waited. Broadview police waited until all the media had left, and a lot of protesters had as well at about 6:45 or so at night, and they tore down the tent. They were grabbing stuff out of our hands, including our first aid kits, and then 2 days later they were shooting at us. And that was them, not ICE shooting at us. That was Cook County Sheriff's Office and Broadview Police shooting at us. And Chief Mills told me during our meeting that he is the one making the calls to do those sorts of things. There are multiple different agencies out here, but he is their point of command. And so he made the call after tearing down our tent and taking away our first aid supplies to start shooting at us.
Despite facing all of that, you know, your aid tent being torn down, the squeezing down the areas in which you are allowed to protest, and then just add like the weather on top of it. It is dark, it is cold, it is raining out here. You are still choosing to stay and stand here and protest. Why?
Because someone has to. The people inside there are being forced to deal with horribly inhumane conditions, and the second we walk away from them, we just say we become complicit to a degree. We say that that's okay, and we're gonna move on to something else, and we can't do that. We cannot forget them. That the daycare teacher is still inside there, the one who they ripped out of her daycare in front of her children, pushed a couple kids out of the way in the process. She has legal documentation, and she is still inside that building. She was a daycare teacher. She was... I'm sorry, I can't imagine what would be going through my kid's head if that happened to his teacher. Like, it's horrible. That's so traumatic and so unnecessary. She wasn't a criminal. Not only was she not a criminal, she was here legally. I need her to know that she's not alone. I need the people inside there to know that we are doing everything we can to fight against this. And we will be here for them. When it gets rainy, when it gets cold, when it gets snowy, we will still be here. The fact that we are in this little pen seems very dangerous. If nothing else, in that, you know, sometimes there are large crowds of people here, and if we are confined to this one little area, the chances of stampeding is much, much higher. Additionally, the fact that we can't actually be close to anywhere really near the building anymore makes it really hard for us to do what a lot of us came here to do in the first place, which was to document. Was to be able to track ICE vehicles as they came and went. And as you referenced, like, we used to be able to, you know, we were up there originally, then they set up the fence, and we were behind the fence, but then we also would go over to 25th Street in Harvard and catch them coming out that way, and then they shut down that area, and yeah, then now we're only over here, and we can't even go on the other side of the street anymore. We just in this one area, which is very frustrating.
So what do you do to try and make your voice heard when you are limited to just such a small corner of one part of a street well away from the facility that you actually want to be protesting?
Personally, one of the big ways that I've been trying to make my voice heard is to contact JB Pritzker as much and as frequently as possible. And I'd just also like to just put that idea out there. We need JB Pritzker here. A lot of other elected officials have come out here, but Pritzker has yet to come out here. We need him out here. We could use his guidance. We could use his experience in just dealing with what's going on right now, because right now it seems like he is telling us to protest and document, but at the same time also sending ISP out here. So it seems kind of like he's talking out of both sides of his mouth. I really don't want to believe that about JB Pritzker because I like him a lot, but we need some guidance from him. Like, he came out and said, I sent the Cook County Sheriff's Office out here to protect the protesters. And that's not what they're doing. They are routinely batoning us.
Oh, and there we go. We see police rushing forward to grab some folks. Rushing forward, pushing folks to the ground. People collapsing onto the ground. These people are forced back as they execute an arrest. Arresting someone from the crowd.
Last week, you were here, they gassed us and they pepperball us.
See, police. Well, note that I just got shot in the foot with a pepper ball just then. They're shooting the press, pushing us.
You're a fucking traitor, Mills.
They are clearly here to protect ICE and not us, and it's very frustrating.
We've heard about some of the conditions inside through a lawsuit that's been filed, through some congressional testimony, through some other means that folks inside are able to get word out about the conditions that they are dealing with and we're hearing about. When you hear about those conditions, I mean, how are you feeling? Like, what are the emotions that go through you?
Okay, not only are they not being given their medications, which they are legally now, but by that judge's order, supposed to have, I have witnessed, I think, 5 different families now over the past couple of days come up here with medications, talk to an officer over here who then radios inside, and they say, oh, that person's not here. It seems like every time anyone comes to try and, you know, give life-saving medication to people who are inside there, they say, oh, it's not here. They're not here, and not only are they not here, you cannot confirm that. We're not letting police officers inside who can confirm that person's not here. We're just telling you they're not here and you can't come in. And the conditions in there are so inhumane, and yeah, that is why I'm here, is because attention needs to be brought to that. Needs to continue to be brought to that. I witnessed on Thursday a man come up looking for his wife, and he came up here because they shared locations on their phone, and he saw that her location was in there, and I watched him try to contact somebody, try to get in contact with her. They said, oh, she's not here, and then he just watched on his phone until her location just vanished. She was definitely there, and they're still turning people away.